Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. And today we're gonna be talking about this. So, today it is not just talking about this phone. We're gonna talk about if it is a really good budget phone or if it is a bad one, and we're gonna rate that based on how many good things it has and how many bad things it has. Well, as it is supposed to go, if it has more good things than bad ones, then it is a good budget phone, and if it has bad ones, then it isn't that great of a budget phone. So first of all, we're gonna start with what most budget phones all have. So the price. Well, for this is the Tecno Pop 10, and for a whopping $70 to $80, you can get this phone right away in the market, which means it is a great budget phone. And yeah, so let's dive in. So for the whopping $80 you get of a price, it comes with a 64 gigabytes of storage. And we're starting off with the storage because it matters a lot. So the storage, well, not that great to others, but that great to others. Because yeah, what will you expect? It is a budget phone, and for much more so, we know budget phones don't come a lot lately with much storage than normal phones, average phones, or high cost phones. But really, sometimes it is really disappointing for you to buy a budget phone or a normal phone, and then you're ready to get like a lot of specs like storage or RAM, and then you're met with a 64 gigabytes of storage. It is quite disappointing because even I hate it. Most people hate it, but some like it because it is just the kind of storage they need. But for people who are game players, like gamers, people who play a lot of games, even if not that much of a gamers, but they play a lot of games, and those games require a lot of storage to be downloaded. Like for example, let's say the eFootball, like most male people play, even though female people play it, but let's be honest, 90% of players of eFootball are male. So let's skip that and let's come back to the phone. So like eFootball, those Call of Duty, PUBG, like those heavy games that need a lot of storage, or like they have a lot of data to be packed in one space and they need a lot of storage. You cannot play much of them on these kind of phones. You will have to download like two to three of them at once. If you want more, you have to delete the old ones, then get the new ones, which is something a lot of us hate because we want to keep what we have on our phone. We don't want to be deleting things constantly. Like you tap this, tap that, and you have to delete this after downloading that. So we hate it. A lot of us hate it. So that is why I'm not gonna say much about the storage, but it is good for a budget phone. But if you know you're looking for something better, just keep it. So yeah, I don't recommend this phone for its storage. All right, let's move on. Now, next, we're going to talk about the RAM, the gigabytes of RAM this phone has, the virtual RAM of the phone. Because many of you are going to expect the physical one, and no, I don't have that one. So, let's talk about the virtual RAM of this phone. This phone, the Tecno Pop 10 I'm talking about, has a virtual RAM of 4 gigabytes, but it isn't that great of a virtual RAM that we know. But for a higher price, you can get a better one. Like I think it is around $100. You can get one with 128 gigabytes of storage. Like I think it is around $150. So you can get one with 128 gigabytes of storage and 6 gig RAM. I think 6 gigabytes of virtual RAM. So yeah, let's come back to what we are talking, what we have in hand. So yeah, the RAM. You know, many games nowadays games are really demanding for its storage, like the how the performance of your phone is, like the specs of your phone. So the RAM is failing. Yeah, it isn't failing that much because you can play the base games, those games you see in Play Store, like those games you see in like on websites, like you see YouTube people playing and you want to play them too, so you can play them on this phone pretty much well as you can play like those small games. Yeah, I mean the vertical games, which some of them are good. All right. So as I was saying, the RAM it isn't that good because this one has a 4 gigabytes of RAM and it is not what most people want. So yeah, you can skip it for its RAM, but you can keep it for a budget phone because you don't expect much from a budget phone. It is a budget phone. So yeah, you're not supposed to be expecting much from it. And I'm gonna be honest, if you don't want this kind of things, just skip it. No need for a budget phone. All right. So as I was saying, let's move on to the next things. Well, much more so we know budget phones. They really have problems, many problems, but they have a lot of features. Like the the price is good. Like many people love budget phones for their price. And if you're a gamer, as I said earlier, don't get this. Only if you're good at streaming or cloud gaming, or you can buy the cloud saving service from Google. And I don't know why you're gonna pay people to put your things in their app and they're gonna watch everything you keep. Like, who does that? Well, Google does it. So let's move on. And so the next we're gonna look into is we're gonna go like that far on the review. And yeah, we're gonna go to the settings of the phone and we're gonna see what we can grasp from there. So first, before we move there, let's go to the camera, and we're gonna see it from here, from this perspective, and then we're gonna see it. So this is what you get for the camera of a budget phone. This Tecno calls itself. So yeah, you don't expect too much because it is a budget phone. But for more of it, let's move on to the settings of the phone, which where we're gonna see some things we shouldn't see. Yeah. So we go to the my phone settings. As I said earlier, on this one has a 64 gigabytes of storage, and well, for the Android version, let's talk about the Android version. For the Android version, you get a really good Android version, which you couldn't ask for. So, as I was saying, the Android version you couldn't ask for more. So yeah, I think that is all I should cover from on this phone. So if you think I missed something that I shouldn't miss, so you can tell me in the comment section, or you think I didn't miss something I should have missed, you could tell me down in the comment section. And please like and subscribe. Could be fantastic. So yeah, well, maybe that's not all. But to me, that's all I can do. That's all I should do. That's all I'm supposed to do. So, yeah, but if you think something should be added, you can tell me in the comment section. And please, if you could, you should like and subscribe to the channel because it keeps us going. Sorry. Yeah.